Brighton Beach Busking presents
Daniel, Jake, Josh, Bronte, Ian, Oscar, welcome to
the Busking Break.
Thank you for having me.
How are you?
Very good, thank you.
The show where we interview your favourite Brighton Beach Buskers, finding out the stories behind the musicians that sound our streets.
I try everything to a very average level.
Music is... I mean, if it had been the Olympics, it would be a gold medal.
Make sure to subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you do not miss an episode. So come with us and be part of this journey. Hello and welcome to the Busking Break here at the Works Pier. Today we spoke to Bronte Shande. She's an incredible vocalist. You might have seen her singing down at the beach front and she has a really great story to tell. So I hope you enjoy. Bronte,
Hello.
welcome to the Busking Break.
Thank you for having me.
So good? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm really good.
Cool. So people who've watched the channel might have heard your stunning vocals down on the beachfront. But let us know about the kind of journey you've had as a musician. When did you begin? How did you begin?
Ooh.
And how did you kind of get to this point?
Yeah, well, I've been singing since I was tiny, as most musicians have been. I grew up in Dorset, and I think my first introduction to music was my parents playing all their favourite albums. I used to listen to like Fleetwood Mac, all the Motown greats, and I just loved singing along to them. And then I went to stage school for a bit, growing up into my early teens.
Cool.
And then I discovered jazz and started to sing with my school's big band. And that's kind of where my love for or where I kind of sort of shaped the way that the direction I wanted to take my vocals and singing. And then fast forward to when I'm 18, I went to Bristol and studied vocals there for 3 years. And then I've just been gigging ever since. I'm actually quite new to Brighton. I've only lived here for about 2 years. So just before the pandemic hit, which is a really weird time to sort of discover the city. But I've been busking. I busk with Paul, who I think you've had on the show. And now I'm here and loving it.
It's so cool. In the light of busking, how did that come to be? How did that fit into the picture?
Yeah, well, I first started busking when I was about 13, 14. And I used to do that Dorchester High Street. And then I left it for a really long time and just started performing live and doing loads of live shows and stuff. And it wasn't until I met Paul that I started busking again. We actually met out on the street. I don't know if he would have told you this, but I kind of met him really randomly. I was just walking past and we got chatting, and then I saw him busking the week after and he was like, come on up and sing with me. And then we sort of gelled and everything worked out, and the rest is history.
That's awesome.
Been busking for about a year and a half now, which has been really
cool.
nice. Yeah.
How would you say, do you think it helps as a musician to do kind of street performance?
Definitely. I think it's a really good way to test out a set list and to see what's going to be received and how it's going to be received. You always get your audience favourites when busking because the crowd starts to form. And it's just a good way to test out new music and
for sure. So you sing in the Amy Winehouse Band.
Yes.
And you sing in some other projects.
Yes.
You do sort of your own stuff too.
Yeah,
so tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so, well, my main gig at the moment is gigging with the Amy Winehouse Band, which is Amy Winehouse's original band. And we tour Europe with that collective. So I'm fresh off tour, actually. I got back on Monday. Been doing loads of dates with them. We just got back from Holland, and then we're off to Belgium, Bruges, Paris. and we've got some UK dates as well.
Nice.
And then that's kind of what I'm doing mainly for the rest of the year. But last year I finished off an album that I co-wrote with a guy called Aaron Claypool Glass. He lives in Bristol, and we're in a duo called Ride, RYDE
Okay.
music. And yeah, it's a studio album. We had a full string quartet on it.
Wow.
We've had some amazing session musicians in, so it really sounds alive, and we're excited to release that at the end of this year, hopefully. And then other than that, I do a lot of hip hop top lines as Bronte Shande, as kind of my solo artist stuff, and that's on Spotify if anyone wants to listen to any of
So
that.
cool. Does this sort of like journey that you've been on as a vocalist or as a musician, was it kind of like, did you like plan for this? Did you consciously try to sort it out, or has it kind of just happened?
I think it's a bit of both. I think one thing that I really try to do as a musician is to say yes to every opportunity that comes my way. I like to think I'm quite versatile, and although I've honed my skills into kind of what direction I want to take my vocals in now, I'm still really open to other things. Like, I got asked to join a punk band the other week,
Nice.
which I totally would have done, but I'm too busy at the moment. And I think just like saying yes to things and working with lots of different people, you don't know what influence these people are going to have on later life. And with the Amy Winehouse thing, I literally was doing a tribute gig last minute to Amy, and her MD and bassist was there, and that's how I got that gig.
Really?
And that was 5 years before he asked me to join. So you never really know who's going to be at a gig, who's going to see you busking, whether you know, when you're working with new people, what influence they're going to have, what connections they're going to have. So I think it's just important to stay open.
That's
Stay open.
really like sage advice. That's really good. It's good for people to hear. Is there like anything that you want to achieve musically in the near future?
I'd love for my duo Ride, I'd love for us to go on tour. Aaron's just had a baby, the other half that I write with, so that's going to be a little bit tricky for the foreseeable. But I'd love for us to go on tour. I'd love for us to tour Europe with our original material. That's kind of a dream of mine. I want our album to do really well. Love to play Jules Holland. That's a big dream of mine. And yeah, I would like people to enjoy our music around the world. I mean, that's any musician's dream, I think.
Yeah, definitely. That's well said. So you can take this question as deep as you want, or as
okay.
literal. What is music to you?
Oh, wow. Hit me. Music to me, I think music is about communication. And I think the fact that you can evoke an emotion or a memory for an audience member to feel is really amazing. I certainly use music to communicate how I feel and what I'm going through, and I connect with certain songs in different ways. And even with busking as well, having someone just walk past and be like, you made my day, or people stopping and reminiscing about something because of a certain song, or a certain song is special to them and evokes a memory from the past. But I think mainly, music is communication for me.
Like a language.
Yeah, our own special little language.
Yeah, it's good. What is like a song maybe for you then, or a singer or a musician who kind of speaks to you in that way?
Ooh, there's so many. Well, Amy Winehouse, for sure. She's always been someone I look up to. I've been listening to her since I was about 8 years old. And when I grew up and, you know, living in my 20s and stuff, I connected to her music a lot more because I got it. Etta James, I love. Sarah Vaughan, another jazz vocalist. Another modern jazz vocalist that I love is Gretchen Parlato. She's just phenomenal. There's too many. Recently, I love the band Hiatus Coyote and their lead singer Napalm. I just love like the arrangement of their tracks and the way that she sings. I think is really special. There are so many. I could go on and on.
That's so cool. How do you find like the difference between, say, playing a big concert like the 600 people in the way Amy Winehouse Band compared to like singing on the beachfront?
I treat it the same. I give the same energy. I enjoy it much the same. I sort of find when I play to bigger audiences, I kind of blank out a little bit because I think I get too nervous otherwise. Especially on songs where I'm trying to remember the lyrics. But I'd say I give the same energy all the time. Performing is always something I put my all into and something that comes very naturally for me. So I wouldn't say there's a massive difference to me personally.
Yeah, I think that's really important. Like, treat them almost the same.
Yeah.
It's still a performance.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's really cool. Here in Brighton, obviously, there's a big busking community. There's lots of us doing what we do. Do you think that maybe there could be a way for the council to help buskers here? Do you, in comparison to maybe when you bust in other places?
Yeah, I haven't had too many many problems with the busking community here and with the council. I can't think of any. I haven't had any issues.
If you think it's good here,
I think it's really good. Yeah, you don't need a license for starters, and like the rest of the community are pretty easygoing. Like if someone's in a spot, you just move on and find another one, and everyone's pretty chill. And you know, people will move on in an hour and let you have the spot. In ways of supporting, I can't think of much the council could do. I think it's pretty good here, in my experience at least.
Yeah, of course. And you moved here sort of at the start of the pandemic.
Yeah, I moved here 2 years ago at the start of the pandemic.
So how was the pandemic for you as a musician?
Yeah, it was rubbish. Everything got cancelled. All of my tour dates got taken away. And they're busking as well. We were scared to go out and busk for a while. Sort of when things eased off, me and Paul went out. And I think it really made people's day. It certainly made ours a lot better because we were out performing again. And we just had to be careful with crowds. We had to like draw circles around us so people wouldn't come into our space. Because that we had a little bit of issue with the council with that. But yeah, I mean, it's so good to be out performing again and things are kind of settling. I'm actually off to a gig tonight, which would be nice. So it's nice. Yeah, it's nice for things to be back to normal slightly again.
Yeah, it's good that it feels like we're on the way out.
Yes, I think so.
Which is really cool. Awesome. So is there anything you're working on? You've obviously said about your album. Is there anything else, anything we could expect of you? Any busking plans?
Busking plans. Well, me and Paul are out by the Upside Down House pretty much every weekend if we can be. So see us there. Just the album. We're mixing and mastering the album at the moment, and that's going to be out at the end of the year, and it's called Safekeeping by Ryde, RYDE.
Cool.
Other than that, I've got lots of tour dates left with the Amy Winehouse Band. We're touring in Paris, Bruges, Belgium. We have got some dates in Poland as well, which I hope are going to happen.
Wow.
And yeah, that's all I've got lined up. Lots of touring and album.
That's awesome. Just like a quick sort of side back to what we were talking about. You lived in Bristol.
Yes.
And for me and maybe some other people, Bristol and Brighton are very similar in places. Yeah. Just sort of like, for you, what's the biggest difference in the music scenes in those places?
Ooh, I'd say that Brighton has much more of like a rock and punk scene.
Okay.
Bristol, there's a mixture of everything, but I'd say it's taken over by jazz and kind of neo-soul bands and stuff. I definitely have enjoyed way more punk and kind of like rock gigs here. I'd say there's more busking here though. It seems more approachable. I don't know if it's because of the seaside, but I never busked in Bristol. And I had a couple of friends that did it, you know, in the city centre and stuff, and they were kind of part of the busking scene, but I wasn't really part of it back then. But I'd say they're very similar cities, but music-wise, I think they, vary.
Awesome. So when you kind of found singing when you were younger, when was the sort of first time you ever performed?
So we used to have school plays and school musicals when I was Diddy, and I remember performing as Nancy in Oliver Twist, and I think that was the breakthrough moment where I thought I want to do this. And then, as I said before, I joined my high school's big band and started singing more jazz and doing concerts with them. And that really pushed me, and I was always in like the school musicals and stuff, getting the lead roles and singing to lots of audiences that way. So yeah, that was kind of my guide into it, I guess. A musical theatre background mainly.
Is there any time you've ever done like maybe a song, or you've performed a song that people wouldn't expect you to perform? You've mentioned punk already.
Well, yeah. I'm open to requests, so I will sing whatever people want to hear. I'm trying to think if there is anything that people...
Maybe people should comment.
Yeah, people comment a song and we'll cover it.
Nice.
That way.
Spot on. Okay, so when you've been out busking, can you tell us a time maybe that stands out a lot? Maybe a really good time, maybe a not so good time? Is you got any stories?
I'd say last year when me and Paul were busking, and I think it was a Black Eyed Peas track. Nice. It was Where Is the Love?
Great
Someone had requested it, and we had so many people lined up in this massive crowd singing Where Is the Love? And it was so cute. Everyone had their phones out and filming, and they were all swaying and stuff. That was like a standout moment for busking for me. I haven't had any bad ones really.
Good. Yeah, that's a good thing.
We've had a positive reception, shall we say. So yeah, that was a standout moment.
That sounds awesome. Well, Bronte, thank you so much for being on the Busking Break.
Thank you for having me.
Let the people know where they can find you and hear your stuff.
Yes, so my socials are at Bronte Shande on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Twitter. I don't use Twitter, but there it is. And also Ride Music, RYDE Music. And yeah, you can find me via those.
Awesome, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for watching the Busking Break here on the Brighton Beach Busking YouTube channel. If you haven't already, then please click subscribe, like this video, and hit the notifications bell so you know when videos have been posted. Go and check out our busking guests. All their links are in the description. I have been your host, August Radio Project. If you're a musician, creative, and you like challenges, or you need some tips and tricks, then go and check out my YouTube channel, also linked in the description. Thank you to Works for welcoming us to the Works Pier and believing in the project. If you're a creative looking for workspace in Brighton, contact Works through the details in the description. They offer co-working, craft space, sound studios, offices, meeting rooms, and more. Also, thank you to Mug Time for the wonderful mugs. You can find the link to their Amazon shop in the description below. And thank you to you for watching the Busking Break. And I'm sure I will see you in the next one. Thank you.